Okay, so imagine you're on a battlefield,
Ugh.
right? And like the dust is swirling around you.
Oh, wow.
You're about to face this huge clash of armies.
Yeah.
But there's a twist.
Okay.
The people on the other side ready to fight you are your own family, your teachers, everyone you respect and love.
Oh, wow.
How could you possibly even think about raising a weapon against them?
I know.
That's the horrible dilemma that Arjuna faces at the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita.
That's such a powerful image. It really is.
Yeah, it is.
Such a stark way to show the struggles that we all face inside.
Right, those times when you feel like what you should do clashes with compassion.
Yes, exactly.
And it's like, what's the right path anyway?
It all gets blurred.
Last time we left off with Arjuna feeling completely lost and full of despair.
Yeah, who wouldn't be?
I mean, think about it, he's a warrior.
Yeah.
But the thought of all that bloodshed, and especially killing people he loves,
It just breaks him.
it just shatters him.
Yeah.
And what's so brilliant about the Gita is that it takes this very real human struggle,
Right.
this crisis of conscience,
Yeah.
and uses it to explore these profound philosophical and spiritual truths.
Absolutely.
So the first few chapters, like chapters 1 through 3, they really lay the groundwork for this exploration.
Okay.
You see Arjuna's anguish, and he's questioning everything.
Right.
Why should he fight?
Why should he kill?
What's the point of it all?
What is the point of all of this?
Exactly.
And that's when we meet Krishna.
Yeah.
Not only as his charioteer, but
Uh-huh.
also as his guide, his teacher,
Okay.
and ultimately an incarnation of the divine.
Yeah.
And Krishna's answers to Arjuna's doubts are at the heart of the Gita's teachings.
Yeah, like one of the first things Krishna talked about is this idea of the soul.
Yes.
He reminds Arjuna that the soul is eternal
Right.
and that death is just a change. It's not the end.
Like changing clothes.
Exactly.
Totally.
The soul remains unchanged.
Yeah, it's like the true self never dies.
That's it.
It's a core concept in the Gita.
It's about knowing the difference between the physical body, which doesn't last,
Right.
and the soul, which is eternal and can't be destroyed.
It can't be destroyed.
So Krishna isn't saying it's okay to be violent or not care about life, is he?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's much more complex than that.
Yeah.
He's pushing Arjuna to see beyond just what's on the surface,
Okay.
to look past the immediate pain and loss,
Yeah.
and understand the deeper reality of existence.
So it's about detaching ourselves from what happens in the end,
Yes.
from the results of our actions.
Exactly.
Krishna says that being attached to worldly possessions and desires is what makes us suffer.
Right.
Clinging to them traps us in this cycle of always wanting more.
And always being disappointed.
It reminds me of that saying, you can't take it with you.
I love that.
In the end, all the material stuff is temporary.
That's a great connection.
And understanding that being detached from the result of our actions,
Yes.
that's a major part of what Krishna calls karma yoga, the path of doing things selflessly.
Yes.
And this leads us to chapter 4,
Okay.
where we encounter the concept of transcendental knowledge.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Sounds pretty deep, right?
It does.
It is deep, but it's also incredibly freeing.
Okay.
Think of it as knowledge that goes beyond what our senses can perceive.
Okay.
It's about understanding the eternal nature of who we really are, the divine,
Okay.
and how everything is connected.
I'm starting to get it.
Good.
But how do we actually access this kind of knowledge?
That's exactly what Arjuna asks.
Of course.
And Krishna's answer is that this knowledge can only be gained through a combination of inner practice
Okay.
and guidance from a true spiritual master.
So it's not just about reading books or going to lectures.
It's not just about accumulating information. No,
Got it.
it's about transformation.
Okay.
Purifying the heart,
Yeah.
stilling the mind, and awakening to a deeper reality.
And that's where the role of a spiritual master, a guru, becomes really important.
Absolutely crucial. Krishna stresses that a true spiritual master is someone who has personally experienced this transcendental knowledge
Makes sense.
and can guide others on the path.
You need someone who's actually walked the path to show you the way.
Exactly.
I love that.
And Krishna even says,
Okay.
just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master.
Okay.
Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him.
Okay.
The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth.
So it's not just a casual thing.
No.
It requires humility service.
Yes.
And a real commitment to learning.
Absolutely. It's a deep student-teacher relationship built on trust, respect,
Right.
and a shared desire for truth.
Okay, so we have this idea of transcendental knowledge and the importance of a spiritual master.
Yes.
But I'm still wondering, Why is all of this necessary?
That's a great question.
What's the ultimate goal here?
And it's one that Krishna addresses directly.
Okay.
He explains that the purpose of this knowledge, this journey of self-discovery, is to liberate us from the endless cycle of birth and death,
Right.
from the cycle of suffering.
So it's about breaking free from being limited by the material world
Yes.
and reaching a state of lasting peace and freedom.
Exactly.
By understanding our true selves, the divine and the material world,
Yeah,
we can overcome the limits of our ego and achieve liberation.
that's right.
Wow. I'm starting to see how it all connects.
Good.
But I have a feeling there's much more to uncover in Chapter 4.
Oh, absolutely.
Where do we go from here?
Yeah, there's so much in Chapter 4.
Yeah.
One thing that really struck me is this idea that transcendental knowledge, it's not just like facts you learn.
Oh, okay.
It's a force that changes you.
Like it changes you from the inside out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Krishna compares it to fire.
Okay.
He says it burns away all the impurities,
Wow.
all the karmic baggage we carry around,
Yeah.
and reveals our true nature.
I like that image.
It's a powerful one.
So how do we actually tap into this fire, this transformative power?
Well, Krishna outlines several practices in this chapter.
Okay.
Meditation is a big one.
Right?
He talks about controlling your senses, calming the mind, turning your attention inward.
It's like quieting all the noise around you so you can hear that inner voice.
That's beautifully put.
Right.
It is about becoming still enough to connect with that deeper part of ourselves.
Yeah.
That part that's connected to the divine.
And Krishna calls this state of deep inner connection the Brahman conception.
Yes, he does.
Right.
And what's fascinating is that when we reach this state,
Yeah.
we start to see past the illusion that we're all separate.
Okay.
We recognize the interconnectedness of all beings, the unity of creation.
Wow. That's like a huge shift in perspective.
It is.
It's like going from a narrow, self-centered view
Yeah.
to a wide-angle lens that takes everything in.
That's a great way to think about it.
And that shift,
Okay.
it has big implications for how we live in the world, right?
It does.
From this expanded awareness, compassion naturally arises.
Yes.
We see ourselves in others,
Mm-hmm.
and we act with more understanding, kindness, and love.
It changes everything.
So it's not just about personal enlightenment then.
Mm-hmm.
It's also about how we interact with the world around us.
Absolutely. Krishna emphasizes that right action.
Yeah.
Living in harmony with Dharma
Right.
is an essential part of this path.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean you have to renounce the world or give up everything.
So we can still have our lives, our families, our careers,
Yes.
but with a different mindset.
That's the key.
I see.
It's about performing our actions without being attached to the results,
Oh.
without selfish motives,
Mm-hmm.
and offering the fruits of our labor to the divine.
It's like dedicating our lives to something bigger than ourselves,
Yes,
a higher purpose.
exactly.
But to be honest, I'm still a bit confused about this whole idea of not being attached to the outcomes of our actions.
Okay.
Doesn't that kind of take away our motivation?
That's a common question,
Yeah.
and it gets at the heart of karma yoga. Krishna isn't saying we shouldn't have goals or try to be our best.
Okay.
He's talking about a subtle change in attitude.
Could you explain that a little more?
Sure.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that our true worth doesn't come from what we achieve externally.
Okay.
It comes from finding fulfillment in the process itself,
Yeah.
in aligning our actions with our dharma, with our unique contribution to the world.
So it's not so much about what we accomplish.
Yeah,
It's more about how we approach our actions,
Yeah.
our intentions behind them.
exactly.
Okay.
It's about acting from a place of selfless service,
Right.
recognizing that we're all instruments in a larger cosmic play.
I think I'm starting to grasp it,
Good.
but how do we hold on to that perspective,
Yeah.
especially when everyone around us is so focused on results and achievements?
Well, that's where the practice comes in.
Okay.
The meditation, the self-control,
Right.
the guidance of a spiritual master.
Mm.
It's about cultivating a deeper awareness, a connection to that inner space
Okay.
where true fulfillment resides.
This makes me think of the analogy Krishna uses in Chapter 4
Okay.
about the banyan tree.
Ah, yes.
Right.
The tree with its roots growing upward
Yes.
and branches spreading downward.
Would you mind reciting that verse?
Of course.
It's always so powerful.
Turhamalamadaşaham ashataprahur avyam
Mm-hmm.
chandasi yasya paryani
Hmm.
yastavida savidavit.
Such a beautiful image.
It is.
Could you break that down for us a little bit?
Sure.
What does it mean?
Krishna is saying that This banyan tree represents the material world
Okay.
with all its endless desires and attachments.
Right.
But true knowledge, true wisdom,
Yeah.
lies in understanding the root of this tree,
Okay.
which is the divine.
So it's about seeing beyond the surface,
Yes,
recognizing the underlying reality that holds everything together.
exactly.
Yeah.
And Krishna emphasizes that only those who understand this deeper truth are truly wise.
There's so much to think about here.
There is.
What are the main takeaways, though?
Eh.
If someone's listening and wants to apply this to their own life,
Mm.
what would you say are the key points of Chapter 4?
I'd say the most important message is that true freedom doesn't come from changing our external circumstances.
Okay.
It comes from inner transformation.
So it's not about escaping the world.
Yeah.
It's about changing our relationship to it.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that we are spiritual beings having a human experience,
Mm.
and that our true happiness lies in aligning ourselves with our eternal nature.
That makes a lot of sense.
Good.
But this alignment, this self-realization,
Yes.
it's a process, right? It's
Absolutely.
not a one-time thing.
It's a journey of self-discovery,
Right.
of purifying our hearts,
Mm-hmm.
of cultivating wisdom and compassion.
Okay.
And it's a journey we don't have to do alone.
Right. We have the teachings of the Gita,
Yes.
the guidance of a spiritual master,
Yes.
and the support of the divine.
Exactly. Krishna assures us in this chapter that he's always with us,
Wow.
even when we don't realize it.
That's really reassuring.
It is.
It's like knowing there's a guiding light,
Yeah.
even when things are tough.
And speaking of challenges,
Okay.
Chapter 4 also addresses the practical side of living in the world.
Right.
We've talked about selfless action,
Mm-hmm.
but there's also this idea of seeking guidance from those who are more realized than ourselves.
Like what Krishna says about approaching a spiritual master with humility and sincerity.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. And I think that principle applies more broadly as well.
How so?
It's about recognizing that we don't have all the answers,
Okay.
that there's always more to learn.
It's like having a beginner's mind,
That's it.
being open to new perspectives and guidance.
Exactly.
I see.
It's about understanding that we're all on a journey of growth, and that being around wise and compassionate people can help us along the way.
I love that image.
It's a good one.
We're all students in the school of life,
Yes.
constantly learning and evolving.
And that's the beauty of the spiritual path, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a lifelong adventure, an unfolding of wisdom, love, and compassion.
Wow, this exploration of Chapter 4 has been amazing.
I know, right?
I feel like I have this whole new understanding of the Bhagavad Gita.
It's incredible how much wisdom is packed into just one chapter.
Yeah, and we've barely scratched the surface.
We've only just begun.
You know, it's like every time you reread a book, you find something new.
Exactly.
I think Bhagavad Gita's like that.
It reveals its depths over time.
What really stood out to me is that this path of self-realization, it's not just for people who can give up everything and become like ascetics.
I know, it's a beautiful message.
Right.
Krishna is saying that even those who are busy with worldly things can still make spiritual progress.
So how is that possible?
Yeah.
How can we actually bring these teachings into our everyday lives?
It begins with a shift in our intention. Even if we can't completely detach from the results of our actions,
Right.
we can offer them up to the divine.
So it's like dedicating all our work, our relationships, everything we do to something bigger, to a higher purpose.
It's about understanding that we're not just working for ourselves,
Right.
but for something much greater.
I can see how that could change our whole experience of work.
Yeah.
It wouldn't just be a grind anymore.
Right.
It would be an offering.
And it doesn't have to be grand gestures either.
Okay.
Even small actions done with this intention become acts of devotion.
So it's about bringing mindfulness and intention to everything we do.
Yes.
It's like making our daily routines sacred.
That's it.
And that's where those practical parts of Chapter 4 come in.
Right.
Krishna emphasizes how important it is to seek guidance from those who are more realized than us.
He does.
He talks about going to a spiritual master with humility and sincerity.
And we can apply this principle to other parts of our lives, too.
Okay.
It's about accepting that we don't have all the answers.
Mm-hmm.
There's always something new to learn.
It's like having a beginner's mind, right?
Yes. Always be open to new perspectives and guidance.
This conversation has been so insightful.
I-
I feel like I understand the Bhagavad Gita better and just the spiritual path in general.
It's been wonderful sharing these ideas with you.
Yeah, it has.
And I hope it encourages our listeners to explore these teachings more deeply.
Absolutely. The Bhagavad Gita offers such profound wisdom.
It does.
It's a gift that keeps on giving.
And it's a gift that's available to everyone,
Right.
no matter their background or beliefs.
So as we wrap up our look at Chapter 4, what would you say are the most important things for our listeners to remember?
I'd say the key takeaways are that true freedom comes from changing ourselves from within.
Yeah.
This path is open to all of us.
Right.
And we can find support and guidance along the way.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Thank you.
And for those listening,
Yes.
we encourage you to keep going on this journey of exploration.
Dive into the Bhagavad Gita.
Reflect on its teachings.
Yeah.
And see how you can apply its wisdom to your own life.
Remember, even small steps towards self-realization can make a big difference.
The path is always there. And the divine is always with you.
Always.
Thanks for joining us on this journey.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time.
Take care.